Alright, bud, take a nice big deep breath there. Give your seatbelt a little tug. Take a breath, focus. Let's just play the game today.
Tonight, the stars in the cars from the DRTV Premiere Cup Series take on the Phoenix International Speedway. Will we have our fourth different winner in this young season, or will Horner, Meyer, or Justice be the first to reach 2 wins? So grab a beverage, a snack, and strap yourself in. Live flag-to-flag coverage from the Phoenix International Speedway. The Duel in the Desert is coming your way next, live on the DRL Network.
And we welcome you to DRL Network live coverage of the DRTV Premiere Cup Series tonight at the Phoenix International Raceway. The Jewel in the Desert, the flat 1 mile D-shaped oval in Phoenix, Arizona sets the stage tonight. Race number 4 for the 2016 DRTV Premiere Cup Series on the air live tonight. 31 cars strong, about ready to get onto the grid right away to take the green flag. Todd Stanton, it's been about 3 or 4 weeks we've been live here on the air on DRTV. Really great to be back in the works, and I can't wait to get this race underway.
Yeah, it's been great. A great vacation, but we need to get some work out there on the for DRTV.
Take a nice big deep
Great
breath there.
vacation, great track to come to visit the Phoenix International Speedway, Phil.
Just play the game today.
Yeah, it's going to make for a fantastic race. We'll get down to our buddy, Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, in the DRTV control booth here. It is a couple of minutes, but Todd Stanton, these guys are already on the grid. We're a little behind the 8 ball here. You know, it's been just about a month working out all the little bugs here, getting us on the air tonight. So let's just jump straight into the starting lineup.
And now your starting lineup from the Phoenix International Speedway live here on the DRL Network. Starting on the pole, driving the number 33. That's the high side hustler. That's Martin Karch. And his dancing partner to the outside, driver of the number 68, Marcio Bedoya, and his name is incorrect.
Mauricio Bedoya, Todd, outside the pole there in 68. As a command to fire engines have been given inside run number 2 tonight, we find the driver of the 57. That's Maverick Morrow, and on the outside, in the number 60 from New York, that's Zach Freeman.
Next row back, starting in that 5th starting position, driving the number 72, that's Isaac Johnson, and his dancing partner to the outside, that's the number 18, that's Robert Balco.
Ken Hansen's going to roll off from 7th tonight in the 109 on the outside. In the number 6, that's Joey the Jet, Joe Allen.
Next row back, starting in that 9th starting position, driving the number 22, that's Gary Piccolo. And outside of him, that's the number 15, that's Matt Watkins.
Monty Keller is going to roll off tonight from the 11th spot in the 028. And on the outside, in the 25, race winner of the season, that's the Punisher, Greg Meyer.
Next row back, starting in that 13th starting position, that's a 103, that's Carson Prince. And outside of him, that's the Flying Fossil, driving the number 69, that's Keith Patton.
15th starter will be Dennis Chambers in the 110, James Collins in the 17, Ryan Johnson the 59, Bruce Heil the 71, Chris Hart, Jay Schaefer, Alan Coleman, the dog John Palmer, Eddie Stancliffe, Danny Johnston, Kelly Horner. That's going to be your starting lineup tonight. Looks like we also are joined by Derek Justice, Jeff Bond, Jeremy Jeffries, amongst many guys. 31 drivers strong. Green flags in the air, Todd, for the first time. These guys headed toward turn number 1 and 2. It's a flat racetrack. These guys getting it all worked out off the banking there down the backstretch.
Yeah, Karch out to the early advantage, dirt tracking it through 1 and 2. That number 33 machine, he's out to a 5-car length advantage over Bedoya. In that number 68 machine, that's Marcio Bedoya. In that number 68 here this evening, the 57 from Mountain running in that 3rd spot. 4th is Zach Freeman, and rounding out your top 5, heavily contested there between the number 72, Isaac Johnson, and the Joey the Jet, Joe Allen in that number 6 machine.
6 to the low side of the 72, had to fall back in line. That's racing for that 5th position on back. Out in the race lead, our pole sitter, the 33, Martin Karch, looking to pull away here, now working lap number 2. They'll put 3 up on the line here. Race for the 5th spot. Todd heating up there off of turn 4.
Yeah, the champ moves into that 5th position. That number 6, Joe Allen, he moves to the 5th. The 72 of Isaac Johnson falls back to that number 6 position. 7th right now is the number 18 of Robert Balcom. 8th is Ken Hansen in that 109. Matt Watkins right now running in 9th, and rounding out your top 10, that's the number 22 of Gary Piccolo.
Gary Piccolo right there running at the 10th spot. These guys all working single file around this flat 1 mile. Best race on the racetrack, Todd, looks to be for around that 2nd position between Bedoya and the 68. Maverick Morrow in the 57. Maverick peeking down on that inside lane through the low side of these corners, Todd. He is all over the back bumper of the 68 as they head to turn number 3.
Yeah, Morrow is all over the rear bumper of the number 68. Morrow being able to hold it down onto the bottom side with that number 57 machine, trying to work over Bedoya in that number 68 machine, but he's able to pull away down the front straightaway here. That number 68 is Morrow, now coming under heavy pressure from that number 60 of Zach Freemau. Freemau now into the plane. Throw a blanket over these guys, Phil, as they come down into that kind of like the kink down here at the Phoenix International Speedway. You wouldn't see a darn one of them. Morrow still trying to mount a charge.
And Morrow looking to that low side, but Bedoya there in the 68 able to run that thing to the high lane, let it come down to that bottom side, and hard on the gas pedal at the exit of these corners off of exit number 2 and number 4. That's going to allow the 60 is Zach Freemau riding in that 4th spot, and that Troyer Chevrolet, he is all over the back bumper of the 57, Todd. That's a 3-car battle now for the runner-up spot into turn number 3.
Yeah, definitely a 3-car battle. These guys fighting tooth and nail, trying to get every inch. As Martin Karch now way out in front in that number 33 machine, the high side hustler. He's really hustling here at the Phoenix International Speedway, trying to leave these guys in the dust per se in that number 33 machine. So, Phil, I'm telling you, this Phoenix International Speedway flat speedway, but tire consumption on these cars, you've got to know when these tires are going to fall off, and is that going to hurt the number 33 of Martin Karch? Is he trying to save some of his tires, or is he just trying to run away and hide and blister those tires?
Well, if we know Martin at all, and I think we all do, I think he's going to go out there and drive that thing as hard as he can, lap after lap. I know we haven't got to talk to our buddy, Mr. TV Time, in the booth yet here tonight. We'll throw to him here in just a minute or so as he's just getting it worked out, giving you all the awesome looks as he does here week after week or night after night. We're on the air live here on DRTV. He said it's just about a month we were on the air for the first race of the series, and just about a month ago at Daytona. We've missed out the last 2 races at Atlanta and at Las Vegas, which are 2 fantastic races, which we'll go through later on. But here in Phoenix tonight, the fuel window looking to be somewhere between that 40 to 44 lap marker. But as you said, Todd, blistering speeds here at Phoenix tonight. Martin out there racing with a 1.5 second lead here with 9 laps up on the board last time by. He certainly could be wearing his tires out for sure. If you were to drive those tires as hard as they are, or even like Maverick and Mark Mauricio there racing hard as they are for the 2nd spot, you think these guys, Todd, can make these tires last for an entire 40-lap run?
It's going to be tough. I'm not very good at Phoenix, so you're asking the wrong guy. You're barking up the wrong tree. But I know tires do fall off considerable amounts here at the Phoenix International Raceway, and these guys are pretty good at saving tires. We raced with these guys, a lot of these guys, on Friday night, Phil, and the outcome wasn't so good for me. But these guys know how to save their tires and save their stuff where I don't. So, throwing that question to me is not a very good idea. Well,
yeah, you and me both. As you said, it's shouting out for that Friday night series that the TDR Racing stable does here Friday night here. Right last night, this very track at Phoenix International Raceway. So a really great race was won by Robert Balcom, who right now, coincidentally, Todd, looks to be the fastest car on the racetrack. He started this race outside the top 10. He's charged that number 18 machine now up to the 6th spot, and he's starting to chase down Joe Allen. I think about 2 or 3 laps, Todd, we may see a great race for that 5th spot as that number 18, that Mountain Dew Chevrolet of Robert Balcom, he's starting to march forward.
Yeah, Balcom was one of those guys that said on Friday night he needed them long green flag runs to let them tires come in, and he was able to run down some of those guys. Yellow flags do not play in Robert Balcom's favor. Balcom, a good long distance runner. He can conserve his tires in the number 18 machine. He is indeed catching the Joey the Jet, the number 6 machine, Joe Allen. Allen right now running in that 5th spot, but the 18 of Robert Balcom starting to run him down last time by 27.680 for Robert Balcom. Joe Allen actually was a little tick faster with a 27.669. Right now, Joe Allen and Robert Balcom are kind of at a stalemate, Phil.
Yeah, they are at a stalemate racing for that 5th spot. They are working lap number 13. 110 laps tonight, the main event here for the Premiere Cup Series at the Phoenix International Raceway. But for the first time tonight, and we get on the air a little behind the ball, 8 ball here, getting things right on to the green flag just shortly, just about a minute once we get on the air. But let's throw for the first time tonight down to the DRTV control booth to Mr. TV Time. Rich Patton, it's been about a month since we've been on the air. Really good to be back, partner. How things down there? What do you got to show these guys out there tonight, YouTube land?
Yeah, welcome everybody out to the race tonight. Not a whole lot of new stuff going on tonight. We're just going to kind of get our feet back wet since we've had so much time off in between broadcasts and get back into this a little bit. I think we're in for a good showing tonight. I think this is a racer's racetrack, And as you can see, the field is getting pretty spread out. We're going to have battles all around this track in different positions tonight as people try to make their moves. So I think this is a little bit different than your normal drafting and normal big track racing that we get to see. I think this should be entertaining.
I think you're absolutely right. Rich, one more quick question for you. We've talked about this many times before, but when you come to a flat track like Phoenix, where, it's almost about tire conservation and having to keep your nose clean, one of the new wrinkles here in 2016 for this Premiere Cup Series, realistic damage. Now, how much do you think that could play into a role here at Phoenix if there was contact on the racetrack? How much do you think those aerodynamics may upset one of these cars here at Phoenix here? As aerodynamics seems to be so crucial out here when you get clean air.
Yeah, I agree. As we see, there our cars passing. We got one off pace a little bit. Looks like the zero's going down a lap or so now. I couldn't agree with you more. Realistic damage changes the ball game, and these drivers know that. Even though this is not a majorly drafting track, I think draft does play a little bit part in this. So it's going to be important to keep their car clean. The car's going to have to respond the way they want it to. If they start getting damaged and that car does not respond the way they need to get around this track, you're going to start seeing them burn up tires, and you're going to start seeing them falling off the pace a little bit. So I think this is a good track to feel out these drivers to see how they could adapt and adjust to the things that come to them tonight.
No, I think you're absolutely right. You're going to have to adapt to burning these tires up. These guys laying some laps down at a pretty good clip. 18 laps up on the board. The pole sitter, the high side hustler, Martin Karch, he's out there with the race lead, Todd Stanton, but he's going to have company here soon. That 68 of Bedoya, he is closing really, really fast. He was a second and a half last time we checked about 5 laps ago. He's got that thing down to an even second. 68 car on the move.
Yeah, now that time by Bedoya kind of did not make up any time. That was a 1.04. Last time it was 1.03, so no time made up. The high side hustler able to keep up front here with that number 33 machine. Looks like yellow flag out there on the speedway, Phil. Yellow flag number 1 here at the Phoenix International Raceway.
Yeah, yellow flag for the first time tonight. Just trying to look through, see what may have happened there to bring out the yellow flag, but for the first time tonight now working lap number 20. That'll put Rich busy for the first time tonight down in the DRTV control booth. Knock the dust off all the replay controls down there. We'll give him just a couple of minutes. We'll see what happened here. Report, Todd. Looks like the 99 of Don Dangler. He's pulled it behind the wall. Not sure if something there happened with a miss with the 99, but just to update, we've had a couple of guys here look like falling off the lead lap early on. The 512 of Danny Johnston. Kelly Horner, the number 21, we've seen him win that DRTV 300 at Daytona just about a month ago. He got the win on his belt early here on the season, but unfortunately for Kelly, Todd, looking 7 laps down, looked like mechanical issues just out of the gate for Kelly.
Yeah, looking like some other things going wrong with that number 21 machine. It's a tough break for him. 99 looks like the yellow did come out on Don Dangler. Dangler, something went awry on that number 99 machine. I'm not sure what went wrong with that number 99, Phil. It looked like he just went up top there and hit the wall, and he just, he spun a little bit on the apron. I won't steal Rich's thunder a little bit, but I almost thought Dangler's motor was gone, but it indeed was not.
No, it wasn't gone, but the handling must have just been very ill on that 99 because it looks like Don has pulled that thing behind the wall. Going to make him the first retiree of the evening. 29 drivers officially took the green flag this evening. Looking toward pit road, Todd, we'll see if these guys maybe come down to pit road. They were halfway through that run. I'm seeing, as I get back to the live button here, seeing all these guys coming off pit road. Imagine it's going to be almost 4 tires exclusive to the front part of this field. We'll have to update all that. Well, let's go down to see what happened to bring out the first yellow flag of the night. So, Rich, down to you.
Yeah, guys, you were dead on. The 99 of Don Dangler is going to cause this one. Is going to cause an issue with his car. As you guys know or already announced that he did pull it off the track. We're going to watch this at full speed for a little bit. For whatever reason, he gets up high on the track, goes up against the wall, all of a sudden has absolutely no power. Everybody's just blowing his doors off there against the wall. Not sure if he's having mechanical issues or not. As he gets a moment to try to get his car under control and get it down lower on the track, he gets it down onto the apron. That's going to cause him to bounce the inside wall and get a little upset and get sideways. Not sure if he had a mechanical failure or what, but that's going to go ahead and end his night tonight early. Tough break for Don Dangler.
No, it certainly is going to put him out of the event just past 20 laps in. Currently on lap number 22. Todd looking up and down pit road. Looks like it was 4 tires of the way of the land for everybody amongst the ranks of the top 10. Well, we had a developing story there, Todd, with our race leader and our pole sitter. Looks like he's going to be behind the 8 ball. What happened in the 33 camp?
It reports for the number 33 seem to be speeding down pit road, Phil, or speeding for that number 33 machine, so he's going to receive an end of longest line penalty. Tough break for the high side hustler, your early race leader here at the Phoenix International Raceway. Now he's got a long road to hoe from way, way deep in the field, Phil, but you're going to have to keep your eyes on him because you're going to watch him make some pretty good moves. I believe you're going to see him make some 3-wide moves here at the Phoenix International Raceway. Martin, no stranger to making those types of moves.
No, not at all, as we know, but he's going to have to restart 26, Todd. 26 drivers left on the lead lap. Danny Johnston's going to get the free pass this time, but it's going to put him 4 laps behind, so it's going to keep our 26 drivers under the lead lap. But as we talked about here a couple minutes ago, Todd, we were here a night ago at Phoenix here in the Great American Pro Series over at TDR. And I think something we realized here, and I think it was the case here tonight, just going out and running some practice laps on this setup with these guys here earlier tonight. Aero push seems to be a big problem here when you get tucked up behind somebody. How do you think that dirty air is going to respond around that 33, having to charge back in from deep in the field?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get some of these guys. Once you get to the top 10, that's going to play a key factor. All these guys really, really fast here in their own respect, but these guys are going to come up through the field. We're going to have to see if the Martin Karch can make it up through and get it, and solve that aero push, and I think you're going to see him be able to do so. It looks like yellow flag still out there on the speedway. Yellow flag coming out once again, Phil, here. They're not ready to throw the green flag.
Not there was contact amongst the back of the field that looks like guys just a little over antsy trying to get back in line. Looks like there was contact there. Somebody may have went around that, brought the yellow flag back out. Seen somebody on the apron pulling away. Probably a little bit of damage there for those guys with the realistic damage. So they'll get this thing sorted back out. Looks like 1 to go signal back onto the speedway. So just about 3/4 of a lap away, Todd. We'll get this thing back under a green flag.
Yeah, we're going to have a new race leader in the form of the number 57 of Maverick Morrow. Zach Freeman running in second. Joey the Jet, Joe Allen in that number 6 machine. He's going to be running third here on this restart. Fourth would be Matt Watkins. Fifth, Robert Balcom. Sixth is the number 22 of Gary Piccolo. Seventh, Isaac Johnson. Eighth should be Derek Justice. He is your current points leader here in the DRTV Premiere Cup Series. He has a 2-point lead over the number 21 of Kelly Horner. Horner right now mired back a little deeper in the field. The number 109 of Ken Hansen, he is running 9th, and rounding out your top 10 is the Punisher, Craig Meyer, in that number 25 machine. So we're going to have to see what unfolds. Get ready to go back to green flag racing here at the Phoenix International Raceway. Pace car down on pit road. Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Green flags in the air. The 57 of Maverick Morrow leads the charge down into corner number 1 with Zach Fremont all over his rear bumper.
Yeah, right there, all over his rear bumper. Now keep in mind here, Todd, as part of this Premiere Cup Series, you know, when they get to these mile tracks or even shorter, there is no passing on starts and restarts till the exit of turn 2. So you'll see these guys just stay in formation through the middle of those first 1 and 2 corners. But as they're all sorted out here, now working off of turn number 4, Maverick Morrow starting to pull away. The race looks to be around for that second spot, Todd, between Fremont and the 60. Joe Allen and the number 6, they are right there racing for that second spot off of turn 2.
Yeah, Allen pushing pretty hard down into the corner. The number 6 machine looks like Fremont going to be able to escape the fray there from that number 6 of Joe Allen. Allen right now running in third, so Fremont now pulling up to the rear bumper of the 57 of Maverick Morrow. Morrow all over the rear bumper of the 57.
Yeah, right there, that 57 Maverick Morrow with that race lead. He's got Fremont, you said, all over his back bumper. Zach Fremont, a new addition here to this series here in 2016. Having a great go out of the gate here so far early on at Phoenix here. 27 laps in. Great race up the front of the field. Now you see Maverick Morrow, the 57, Todd. You know, on one of these flat tracks, you know Maverick knows his way around. He's a short track guy, real quick there on the short tracks. At a place like Phoenix, it's a place that he may excel. So I think looking up and down through the top 10 of this field, you know, Maverick, Zach, Joe Allen, Matt Watkins, Robert Balcom. Those are also very, very accomplished drivers, as we seem to have top to bottom in this Premiere Cup Series season, you know, series this year. It's going to make for a fantastic series here. As we're just in race number 4 out of 36. I think we're going to be for a fantastic series here, and I can't wait to show all of them here as we're going to do 15 races this year on the DRL network.
Yeah, I can't wait to see who's going to come up here at the end of this season, Phil, for the DRTV Premiere Cup Series. These guys, like we said, we've had 3 different winners. We've had the opening night winner of Kelly Horner in that number 21 machine, winning a field mileage race at the Daytona International Speedway. Second time out, the Punisher Craig Meyer, he picked up a win in that number 25 Tide Ride. And then the third night was the number 31 of Derek Justice. Justice pulling down into victory lane after a few late race yellows propelled him to a win, Phil. So hopefully we're going to see another new face here to victory lane here in this 2016 season.
Well, it's just one of the many things we keep an eye on here in 2016 for the Premiere Cup Series. You know, a new way to crown the champion here. Our spin on it here for 2016. The Path to Premier Scramble, the last 6 races of the year. What's that's going to pertain for these guys out there? Guys that have won a race within the top 20 in points once we get past race number 30. Those guys qualify for the Path to Premier Scramble, as do the top 3 drivers in the points overall that have not won a race here in 2016. So it is going to be an unarbitrary number of drivers that are qualified when we get to race number 31 for the Path to Premier Scramble here in 2016. And what we're going to do from there, we're going to whittle the field down week after week, all the way down to the Homestead Miami Speedway, race number 36. There's going to be a 2-driver battle. 2 guys will be settling it out to race for the championship here at the very last race at Homestead here in November. I think it's going to make for just a fantastic, Path Premier Scramble format. I think that's going to add a new flavor here in 2016 to this Premiere Cup Series. I think it's going to make for a fantastic settle here at the end of the year. And there's so much great racing here on tap here. Looking at Maverick Morrow in the race lead, Zach Freeman right there in that number 60 in his tire tracks, Joe Allen all over them. Those top 3 guys, Todd, they have pulled away from our 4th place runner, Matt Watkins, Robert Walkham. They're currently 5th. Top 3 pulling away down the back straightaway.
Yeah, top 3 are indeed pulling away down the back straightaway into that little kink, now into turn number 3. The 57 Maverick Morrow right now leading the charge. Freeman been all over the rear bumper, but Freeman's been exiting pretty high in the number 60 machine. The 60 Joe Allen, he's been diving down low. He's been trying to get around Freeman. Freeman right now predicting that bottom groove, but Freeman looks like he's up off that yellow line just a little bit compared to Joe Allen. But these guys running pretty tight knit together here. Allen getting one whale to run through that kink section there in the number 6 machine. Now he pulls back up to the rear bumper of the number 60 of Zach Freeman. Freeman right now running in that 2nd spot, but these guys coming up on lap traffic. Looks like the number, I'm not sure if that's the 21 Phil coming down the road.
Looks like it may be the 21 of Kelly Horner. He's been just having all kind of issues here at Phoenix tonight, which is a tough break for him because I believe he came in this evening 2nd place in the points, 2 markers behind Derek Justice. Both them guys race winners here in 2016. As we said with the scramble, those guys are already race winners. If they could just maintain their standing and in the top 20 in points once we get through that 30th race, those guys will qualify. So having that win under their belt here already early in 2016, that's going to bode well for those guys. It was a tough break for Kelly Horner, Todd. He's so good here at Phoenix, almost so fast, and was having such a great run of the points here for the first 3 races. I'm certain he's disappointed.
Yeah, I'm certain he is disappointed with that number 21 machine, things going awry with his machine, and hopefully he can join the field and try to log some laps here in that number 21 machine. I know Kelly races normally on Saturday nights at his local dirt track, so his campaign may come to an end here in the DRTV Premiere Cup Series. He's going to be able to race a very limited schedule here after, I'm not sure when he starts racing. I believe it's in April somewhere, where the number 21 of Kelly Horner will attack the dirt scene locally for himself. So Kelly Horner, tough break for him in that number 21 machine.
Yeah, so we're going to have a yellow flag out now for the 2nd time tonight, working lap number 37, but just to touch on, as you said, Kelly, parading up and down the short tracks up in the Midwest of the country here as we get toward real racing season for a lot of these guys that go out and parade through the short tracks on the dirt tracks week after week here during the summer months. As I said, Kelly's already won that race, and it's one of the great things here, Todd, about the Path for Premier Scramble in 2016. If these guys, as Kelly's, he's already won a race here this season. If he can somehow just race enough to keep himself into the top 20, then I think that's one of the great things about this series and this format this season. Allows these guys to have a life during the summer months. They're not going to be committed here racing week after week. So as long as these guys can show up enough to keep their standing in the top 20, a guy like Kelly will be all right. So We're under yellow flag for the second time tonight, working lap number 38, and I believe Mr. TV Time Rich Patton is ready with the DRTV replay.
Yeah, most definitely, guys. We're going to keep our eyes on the 69 of Keith Patton. Looks like he may have had a little bit of assistance there, but we'll let this run out in full speed and let you see how it's going on. 69 up on the top side, 103 of Carson Krentz behind him. Looks like they're going into the corner just past Kelly Horner. He's off pace a little bit. Looks like the 103 made a little bit of contact with the 69. Krenz into Patton. It's going to send Patton up against the wall. Pretty much slams him into the wall. I'm sure he's going to have plenty of damage after this one as he lets other cars get around. He's able to get this back straight and point in the right direction. A lot of bunched up damage on the back end of his car, guys. Tough break for Keith Patton.
All right, so there's the story there. Contact between the 69 of Keith Patton and the 103 of Carson Krenz. That's going to put us under yellow flag for the second time tonight. 110 laps to big main event distance tonight at the Phoenix International Raceway. Working lap number 39. These drivers, Todd, on and up and off pit road. Looks like Maverick Morrow, Zach Freeman, Joe Allen, those guys, they were the first guys off on the pit road. They're going to be the top three coming out. Great stop for those guys.
Yeah, the 60 is Zach Freeman and the number 6 flip-flop positions, I believe, they're on pit road. Looks like Joe Allen got out in front of Zach Freeman. Freeman had a little bit lengthier pit stop on pit road. Not that much, but that's a difference of one spot there on pit road and onto the racetrack there, Phil. So Joe Allen now making the pass on pit road. Good job by the number 6 South Point Ford Fusion there in that number 6 machine. The Jet, Joey the Jet, Joe Allen running right behind the number 57 of Maverick Morrow. You got the number 60 Zach Freeman. He's running fourth on the speedway. These guys still coming down pit road, Phil.
Yeah, current race leader last time by, the number 36 of Alan Coleman. So great to see him out here in 2016. The scored the race leader last time by, has not yet come to pit road. He's already pitted under the earlier yellow flag here about 20 laps ago. We were talking, Todd, about 40 to 44 laps through a green flag run here, through a full tank of fuel here. And if you can keep 40 laps of the tires underneath you. Allen out there, currently the race leader has not come in, but the question is now, all eyes on the 36. Will he or won't he come to pit road for fresh tires? Looks like he's got that thing down on the inside, and he sure is. He's going to pit out of the race lead. Probably the right call here, Todd, for Alan Coleman. I don't know if you could risk staying out here with 40 laps in, with so many laps here left still to go.
Yeah, you got to figure they had about 18 to 20 laps on that set of tires there, Phil. And that makes you a sitting duck here at Phoenix. The tire wear is extremely, this track is abrasive out there at the Phoenix International Raceway. And these guys, changing these tires, that's probably the right call from Alan Coleman coming down on pit road. Just wanted to get out there and get some TV time showing out front here in that number 36 machine. Long story for Alan Coleman here this season. Missed the first few races of the Premiere Cup Series due to his ankle breaking, Phil, here early on in the season. So Alan Coleman now still out there. Still, I believe he said he's in some type of walking cast, I believe, in that number 36. So still out there showing and racing in that number 36.
Well, I believe we can report, I believe he's out of the boot. Don't quote me, talking to Alan here about a week ago, telling me, still sore on the mend, as you said, broke that foot over the winter months, been on the mend ever since here. So, he's been trying to race as much as he can, as much as he can tolerate the pain. It's so great to have him out here in 2016, a part of the Premiere Cup Series. Alan's going to restart deep in the field from about 22nd position here at my count, next time by when this thing cycles out. But the Premiere Cup Series, DRTV Paceman on the pit road. The field now back under the green flag conditions, being led by the 57 of Maverick Morrow, Joe Allen, Zach Freeman, Robert Walker, Matt Watkins. Todd, that's your top 5 as they exit turn 2.
Yeah, Morrow went at one well of a jump here on that start in that number 57 machine, about 5 car lengths advantage over the number 6 of Joe Allen. Zach Freeman now running in third. Freeman now trying to catch Joe Allen this time as the number 21. Looks like the 21 back down on pit road. Kelly Horner back on pit road. And the number 21 machine going to fall down some more laps here at the Phoenix International Raceway. All kinds of battles throughout the field, Phil. I've been watching the 04 of Jeremy Jeffries battle it out with the number 110 of Dennis Chambers. Chambers, one of them Insomniac Motorsports sponsored machines out there on the Speedway. Chambers and Jeffries been going back and forth. Jeffries passed him and Chambers back down to the inside. Now Jeffries got one whale of a run on the top side, trying to get around the 25 of Craig Meyer. That's the Punisher. That is a battle for that 11th spot. Now here comes the 04 of Jeffries down to the bottom side.
Yeah, that's racing for the 12th position in the turn 1 tie. Craig Meyer, the 25, sliding up the racetrack. That's going to allow that Monster Energy number 04. Jeremy Jeffries on the inside. Move Jeffries now up to that 11th spot, or the 12th spot rather, Todd. He is on the charge, as you said. Now you're racing up there amongst the top 5, Todd. Looks like a battle shaping up between Bedoya and the 68 and the 31 of Derek Justice, Todd, down in turn 1.
Yeah, I still got Bedoya in that number 68 machine, still running in that number, I believe that's number 9 position right now. It looks like yellow flag out on the speedway field. Maybe I'm wrong. It looks like these guys slowing down. I did not see what happened in that yellow flag, but yellow flag number 3 here at the Phoenix International Raceway.
Yeah, yellow flag number 3, as you said here, just trying to look around, see what may have happened there to bring out the yellow flag. I'm seeing the dog, John Palmer. Well, look like he may have been pointing in the wrong direction. Not sure if he had help there. We won't speculate. We'll let Rich work that out on the DRTV replay, but looks like contact with the 108 of John Palmer. Got that thing deep down in the corner. Looks like he may have lost traction, or maybe something happening in front of him. That checked up the field and the 108. That's going to be quite the replay there Rich is going to have. Not sure we're going to get any Richisms out of it, but certainly contacted and multiple car incident off the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, tough break for those guys involved. We're going to have to see if some of these guys take the option to come down on pit road. Here comes the 57 of Morrow down to pit road. These guys only pitted about 2 laps ago, but here they come down to pit road. All kinds of cars coming down pit road, Phil. Morrow, Allen, all these guys decided to come down and take tires once again. Looks like Jeffries, the only car to stay out. Jeffries was running 12th at the time of that yellow flag. These guys now back down on pit road, Phil.
Yeah, they all are on pit road, and they're just looking up and down. You know, what do you think the call is going to be for all these guys? I'm seeing at least right side tires, and all of them right side tires amongst the ranks of the race leaders. Are they going to take just 2? Will they take 4? Let's see what the call is. Up 4 tires for the 57 of Maverick Morrow, 4 tires for the 60 of Zach Fremont. Seeing a lot of 2-tire pit stops on the pit road. That's going to certainly jump up the field as these guys make that sprint to the exit. But race leaders taking 4, Todd. Many guys on the outside of that top 5 all elected to take 2 tires.
Yeah, the 33 of Martin Karch, the high-side hustler, he took 2 right-side tires. Justice with 2 right-side tires. I believe the 25 machine of the Punisher, Craig Meyer, he also took 2 right-side tires. Looks like that's going to shake it up just a little bit. And Phil, I almost think that's the right call. They only had about 2 laps on their tires. So I'm thinking I would have gambled just like that.
I think 2 tires may have been the right call there with his 2 laps, as you said, on that heat cycle. I think they may be all right. Guys like Jeremy Jeffries staying out, maybe that could be the right call there. So that may propel him all the way up toward the race lead. Currently scored the race leader as we work the caution flag the 3rd time on lap number 48. Let's see what happened to bring us under the yellow flag. So down to Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, for a replay.
Yeah, heads up here, guys. Looks like we're going to keep our eyes on the 028 of Monte Keller. Try to do the right thing. Sometimes when you do the right thing, it's the wrong thing. And there was just nothing that can be done. We're going to keep our eyes on Keller. Keller's going to drift up. He lets out of it just enough to miss the 24. That's going to upset his car a little bit right in front of Palmer. Palmer's in an unpainted scheme right there, as you can see. Let me get this camera switched around. But as you can see, we're going to back this up just a little bit as Palmer goes up into the wall. Krenz is going to come right up into him, get a back end push from him as well, or somebody slams into the back end of Krenz. Krenz is going to get slammed into Palmer. That's going to send Palmer on down the track up against the wall, which is where everybody ended up seeing what was going on there. But back to what was going on, we've got 3-4 cars involved, and that's Johnston right there in the 512 in the Enterprise paint scheme on this camera tonight. So tough break for all 4 cars. Krenz, Johnston, Palmer, and Keller. Back up to you guys.
All right, multiple car incident there, putting us under yellow flag tonight here. Now working lap number 49, almost to the halfway mark, 110 laps to race distance tonight. The Phoenix International Raceway, race number 4 for the 2016 DRTV Premiere Cup Series season. Current race leader Todd last time by, 2 tires working out in favor of our 2015 series champion, last week's winner, DJ Derek Justice in that number 31. He's currently with the race leader. Craig Myers second. Martin Karch found his way now back to that 3rd spot. Maverick Morrow, Joe Allen, those guys with 4 tires will restart 4th and 5th respectively, Todd. But a 2-tire pit stop for those guys in the top 3. I think at this juncture of the race, that may be the right call.
Yeah, I'm thinking that was the right call. Justice now up front in that number 31 machine, Clean Air. Let's see how Derek Justice is going to be able to do. He's been in the top 10 here all evening long, running around about the 8th or 9th position. So now Justice has Clean Air to work with. Let's see what the 31 machine can do. Paceman taking that hard left-hand turn down to pit road. It's not really that hard here at Phoenix, but it's still hard in its own perspective. In the van now down on pit road, green flags in the air. The number 31 of Justice out to the early advantage. He cannot pass till out of turn 2 here at the Phoenix International Raceway. That's one of the rules here for the DRTV Premiere Cup Series. So Justice going to have about a 3 or 4 car length advantage coming down through the kink in that number 31 machine. The 25 of Craig Meyer running in that second spot. The 33 of Martin Karch. He is running third. He is your fastest car of the evening so far. He has put down the fastest time. And I'm telling you, Phil, I'm looking up and down over these fast times here as we complete lap 51 of 110. And Martin Karch in the 33, he's pulled off a 27.169. Nobody else in the ballpark. A 27.330 is by the number 68 machine and the 6 of Joe Allen at 27.383. So these guys a little bit out of sorts from the number 33 of Martin Karch. Karch, you know, cannot pull off a 169 every single lap, but there's been a battle for the third spot as it was heating up for the 57 of Maverick Morrow. Morrow been looking all over the number 33 of Martin Karch. Karch still running in that third spot. Here comes Morrow back down to the bottom side in that number 57 machine.
Yeah, and I can't believe this. How low to that racetrack through turn number 1 and 2 he was able to take that thing, Todd.
Not sure where Phil went there. Microphone difficulties for Phil up here in the broadcast booth. Yellow flag going to fly.
That thing on the inside lane, but now the yellow.
Well, yellow flag out there on the speedway at the Phoenix International Raceway. Looks like Phil having a little bit of technical difficulties on his end of the spectrum here. Phil was cutting in and out there. We could not hear him here momentarily, but he's going to get those microphone issues in play here. Looks like some of these cars coming down pit road. The 33 of Martin Karch coming down pit road. Also, I believe that was the 25, the Punisher, Craig Meyer. These guys all coming down on pit road. The 31 of Derek Justice still staying out there on the speedway. But I'm looking down up and down pit road. Pretty busy pit lane right now. These guys taking, it looks like 4 tires down there on pit road. Looking at the 25, the Punisher, Craig Meyer, as Phil is now momentarily here coming. He's going to be able to come back and join us here momentarily. And here he comes. Phil is now back in the broadcast booth with us. Is now the 25 of Craig Meyer. Looks like he took 4 tires. The Punisher now back out there on the speedway. But recapping the field right now, Derek Justice has not come down pit road. And that number 31 machine, and he's staying out there on those older tires. Justice liking the front spot here in that number 31 machine, so we're going to have to see if he stays out there. I'm going to throw it down to Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, who has our replay queued up and ready for us. Rich, what happened out there?
Yeah, guys, looks like cars might have just got out a little bit of control and spun around in the corners, but we're going to keep our eyes on the 112 of Chris Hart of Felix and let this kind of play out. We're also going to see the 71 spin. The 71 is going to be Bruce Heil. We'll keep our eye on both of these guys as they're getting into the corner. Not sure if there's any contact made or not, but it looks like Bruce Heil broke free. That's going to send him around. We'll go ahead and shift this camera around so we can watch what's going on. The 71 checks up or spins around. The 112 of Chris Hart of Felix also tries to check up and stay out of it. Next thing you know, there's nowhere to go for who is that? That might be, that's going to be the 210 of Ed Stancliffe. Ed Stancliffe's going to get into Hart of Felix as well. That's going to send Ed down to the inside wall. That's going to put Chris backwards on the track as this plays itself out. Everybody else is able to get around them, so it looks like just 3 cars involved. Realistic damage. All these guys are going to have a little bit of effective damage on their cars now, guys. Back up to you.
All right, so we're back here. Looks like I've got all the issues worked out on my end, guys. Thanks for bearing with me there. Alien abduction here for my connection here tonight. I think you guys have got me now loud and clear back on the air at the halfway mark. 55, now 56 laps of the 110 here in the main event. This is tonight at the Phoenix International Raceway. It is Derek Justice of the number 31, your current race leader. Matt Watkins, Gary Piccolo, Jeremy Jeffries, Carson Krenz. He's going to restart with the top 5. Maverick Morrow 6, Joe Allen is 7th, Robert Walkham is 8th, Zach Freeman is 9th, the Punisher Craig Meyer currently in that 10th spot. 11 through 15, Isaac Johnson, Mauricio Bedoya, Ken Hansen, Dennis Chambers, Ryan Johnson is your current top 15. Ed Stancliffe is 16th, Jay Schaefer 17th, Matt Lesniewski's 18th, Keith Patton 19th, Monty Keller 20th. On the lead lap, 21st, Bruce Heil, Alan Coleman 22nd, Martin Karch 23rd, James Collins 24th, Chris Hartafielax, the last car on the lead lap in 25th, 26th and 2 laps down is the dog John Palmer. Danny Johnston is 27th, he is 3 laps down. 2 drivers out of the event, Kelly Horner and Don Dangler. Those are your 29 drivers that took the green flag tonight. 27 left on the racetrack, Todd, and 25 drivers left on the lead lap. The DRTV Pace Fan found its way to pit road. We're going to put this thing back under the green flag.
Green flags in the air once again here at the Phoenix International Raceway. Derek Justice leading the charge down here into 1 and 2. Again, you cannot pass till out of turn 2 here at the Phoenix International Raceway here in the DRTV Premiere Cup Series. The 15 of Matt Watkins running in that second spot, closing the gap on the 31 of Derek Justice. Justice out there on the oldest tires out there on the speedway. I believe Watkins there has only 2 fresh tires on that 15 machine. You're going to see some of these guys come through the field here. They're going to have 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles underneath them. 22 of Gary Piccolo running in that 3rd spot right now, all over the rear bumper of the 15 of Watkins. Piccolo down onto the bottom side. Looks like Watkins going to open up the door for Piccolo to make a challenge there. He's going to slam the door shut here down into the kink. But once again, Piccolo getting a whale of a run coming down into the corners, Phil. But again, Watkins being able to run the extreme a little bit down on the bottom in that number 15 machine.
I think the benefit for the 15 there is you saw the 22 driving deep down in the corner there. Matt Watkins, the 15, is letting that thing roll into the corner, not real hard into the gas, just letting it roll. I think he's able to save his tires sometime. And I think you're seeing that there off of turn 2 that time. He got great launch off of turn 2. He's able to chase down the 31 of Derek Justice time in the turn 3. We may have a race for the lead here.
Yeah, again, I think Aero Push is going to play a key factor here, a key role here, trying to get around some of these cars. Justice out there in clean air. We heard that about the Aero Push Friday night to All-American Series here at the TDR stables here, and watching for the Aero Push. And it looks like when you get up to somebody, Phil, it looks like it's really hard to pass somebody because they've developed that Aero Push, and that's looking like what Watkins is doing there. Because now he loses about 2 car lengths to the 31 of Derek Justice here through the corner. Gary Piccolo right now running 3rd. Here comes Jeffries down to the bottom side. Jeffries a little bit out of shape. Dirt tracking it through 3 and 4. Jeffries brings it back together, wheels it back in. Still running in that 4th spot.
Yeah, I don't know if Rich got that there on the live view there, but Jeffries drove that thing deep down into turn number 3. Had running room there at the entrance of the corner under the 22. 22 slammed the door shut. Jeremy went down to the apron, had to save that thing, got that thing real loose. As caution flag now back onto the speedway on lap number 61. Sounds like an incident with the 69 of Keith Patton, Todd. Looks like heavy damage to the 69. It looks like that may put a premature end to the Flying Fossils evening.
Yeah, tough break for the Flying Fossil. Keith Patton in the number 69 machine. Not sure what happened, Phil, to the 69, but something involving the number 69 machine. So we're going to have to wait for Rich to queue up that replay, and then we'll all figure out what's going on down there in YouTube land, and ourselves up here being able to be filled in what's going on with that number 69 machine. Looking through the field, I'm going to see if some of these guys, Phil, are going to, if we're going to have any takers down to pit road. Again, abrasive track here at the Phoenix International Raceway, and these guys take tires as much as they can, and I believe we're going to see some of these guys come down on pit road. It looks like we're going to see all the takers come down on pit road, being led by the 31 of Derek Justice.
Yeah, the entire front half of the field heading on the pit road. I'm down in the Monster Energy camp. The number 04, Jeremy Jeffries. We're going to see what he's going to do. I see right side tires in the air for Jeremy. It's going to be right side tires. Do they swing around to the left sides? Yep, left side's in the air. Going to be a 4-tire pit stop for Jeremy Jeffries. Also, Todd, 4 tires for Derek Justice. What are you seeing on your end of pit road?
Well, I've been watching Joey the Jet, Joe Allen in that number 6 machine. Looks like right side tires already finished and placed on that number 6 South Point Ford Fusion. Right side, left side tires going on the 6. He is down and away, so 4 tires to call for the number 6 machine and the 72 of Isaac Johnson also.
Yeah, I saw 4 tires there from Matt Watkins, number 15. Also 4 tires, you said, from Maverick Morrow, Gary Piccolo at 4 tires, Robert Bauckham at 4 tires. Looks like 4 tires is going to be the way of the land here under caution flag. I believe this may be caution flag number 5, my math is correct here. Working now lap number 63, recycling here through this round of green flag, or this caution flag pit stops here. But I believe Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, is ready with the DRTV replay, so let's throw it down to you, Rich.
Yeah, guys, you were right. Hit the nail on the head this time. 69 Keith Patton's going to have a little bit of an issue. Earlier, he tried to make his car a subcompact. Not sure that was the right thing to do. As you can see, the back end's crunched up quite a bit. We're going to go ahead and play this out a little bit. I believe as he gets into this corner, he just gets a little bit loose on his own. He didn't seem to have any help from anybody. As you can see, there's nobody around him right there. The rear end's just slowly coming around. He tries to correct it, overcorrects it a little bit, gets it up on 2 wheels, thinking about doing a barrel roll, decided that wasn't a smart move. All of a sudden, this car's going to come to a stop facing the wall up high on the track. Everybody else is able to get around him, and that's pretty much going to call it a night for Keith Patton and the 69 guys. Back up to you.
All right, so under the yellow flag, number 5 is hearing the word from race control. This thing's going on the racetrack. Just trying to get a glimpse of what's going on down there. Looks like our current race leader, Todd, is that 112, that serious machine of Chris Harder-Felix, Derek Justice, Jeremy Jeffries, Matt Watkins, Alan Coleman, your current top 5. Good to see Alan running the top 5. I know he was just on pit road, having a great run out there so far early on here in the 36, Todd.
Indeed, a great run for the number 36 of Alan Coleman. Been down here in the YouTube chat box checking out all the users down here. These guys always active down on the chat box. Looking up and down, we got J-Rock out there. We got Bob Tompkins Sr. always out there on the chat box. You got a couple of other guys out there. You got Terry out there from RTG. You got Terry Bauman out there. You got all these guys out there, Phil, but there's a lot of questions being asked down here about these alien abductions, and they want to know down there in the YouTube chat box why you were rejected by these aliens here this evening.
Oh, man. Why was I abducted by the aliens? Well, I don't know. They call me a pretty son of a gun, so I'm wondering if maybe I was just too pretty for those aliens, because I guess you got to be pretty ugly to get, beamed up there in that rocket ship. I don't know who else we can ask about that, Todd, but you guys out there in the YouTube chat box, it's so great to talk to you here once again. All the great, chatter we get back and forth here certainly makes these nights go around here. We get on the air live on the DRL network. Just want to give a big hats off to you guys. Thanks for all the support out there. Check out all the great things we have coming up. If you'd like to get your league here live on DRTV, head over to the home site, drlnetwork.com. Event packages, custom fit to fit all your league's needs. Get Rich, Todd, myself over to your place and display your great action, just like we have here tonight as part of the Premiere Cup Series here at Phoenix. The green flag, Todd, is back on the speedway. New race leader is Chris Harder-Felix. They're racing their door-to-door now off of turn 2.
Yeah, Harder-Felix in that number 112 machine. He ran in pretty deep and still able to hold on to the lead. Derek Justice now running in that second spot in the 31. Jeremy Jeffries was trying to dive low down to the bottom side of the 31 of Justice. Justice still holding on, but here comes Jeremy Jeffries. One whale run off of number 4 down the front straightaway. He's going to have the preferred groove down into 1.
Yellow flag back on the speedway. These guys just having a little fit here through these early stages, getting this thing back under the green flag. Seeing a couple guys pulling away slow away. Not sure what happened there to bring out the yellow flag. Try to go back and give Rich a reference point here. Just not sure what I see on the race. Oh, there I go. The 17 of James Collins, it looks like, who may be there. The reason for our caution flag to give Rich here, just a point of reference. Working lap number 67, Todd. These guys just having a little bit of a tough time here in the middle section of these races. This race, getting this thing back into the green flag conditions. As we've seen here on that first run, these guys get all sorted out. They can put some great racing here around Phoenix.
Yeah, once they get all sorted out, great racing here at the Phoenix International Raceway, but a little bit about cautions, breed cautions here early on in the going. We're on lap 68 of 110 here under the yellow flag conditions. The 112 of Chris Harder-Felix now pitting out of the lead, going to go down and get 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles aboard that number 112 machine. But I'm going to throw it down to Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, who has the replay queued up and ready for us.
Yeah, this time we're going to keep our eyes on the 103 at Carson Krenz. Looks like he gets a little bit loose going in the high side in one of the corners. We'll go ahead and let this play out in full speed. As you can see, he went up real high. Rear end's going to come around on him. That's going to send him right down into the 210, I believe that was. It's going to turn him face out towards the outside of the track. Next thing you know, you've got more cars coming around. Let me get this this camera focused back in so we can see what else happened, because other cars are involved. As you can see there, just below or just ahead of our actual camera scene, we've got another contact where we're going to keep our eyes on just below Keller. That looks like the 17 there. That's going to be James Collins. James Collins is trying to check up and stay off the car down on the apron. That's going to knock Keller out into the outside wall, and James Collins is going to also go up against the wall and stay on the high side. So looks like we've got at least 4 cars involved that are going to show damage this time through. This one, tough break again. Tough to see Monty in another one, even though he's trying to do what he can out there to stay out of the way. That one wasn't his fault again, and he's going to take on more damage due to it. But tough break for everybody, including James Collins there as well, guys. Back at you.
Yeah, and as you just saying that, tough break for Monty Keller in the 028, just trying to stay out there, mind his business. Todd trying to stay clear of everything going on. When you get to one of these tight, flat tracks like a Phoenix, sometimes it's all you can do to try to stay out of the way if you're off the pace. And for Monty Keller, it's wrong place, wrong time, and certainly a helpless feeling behind the wheel.
Yeah, certainly a helpless feeling at Phoenix International Speedway to try to get out of the way. I know that feeling, and I know how probably Monty is feeling right now, trying to get out of the way here, and just at the short end of the stick here for that 028 machine. But Monty's going to be able to gather it back. I believe he's still on the track in that 028 machine. He is indeed still out there on the track, and being able to motor through. He's still on the lead lap too, Phil, running in that 20th position. So he's doing all right, but a lot of damage aboard that number 028 machine.
Yeah, certainly a little bit of damage there for the 028. Just looking up and down pit road, just seeing 2 cars make contact down there. It looks like the 76 of Jay Schaefer, he might have got turned in the wrong direction there. Those guys just trying to get in and out of your pit stalls here. And at a place like Phoenix, those pit stalls, Todd, they get awfully tight, awfully fast there. It looks to be a wide pit road when you get down to the entrance, but when you make that left-hand turn to get onto your stall there, these stalls are certainly real narrow. Just how tough it is here to make a pit stop here at Phoenix? I mean, it doesn't even matter under the green flag. Just overall in general there, as you get those things off the banking and swing this thing down, just tell our viewers out there just how tough is it at a place like Phoenix there with these tight pit stalls to hit that sign clean.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm no good at Phoenix, and I made that known. But coming down onto pit road, it's tricky, Phil. And again, I've spun it out on pit road. I've been an object of getting in the way of people on pit road, especially under green flag conditions here at the Phoenix International Raceway. So it's tough to swing down in there in tight pit stalls. Basically, now making that hard left-hand turn down to pit road. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here once again. Green flag in the air. Derek Justice leading the charge with Jeffries. Running in that second spot. Third would be the 15 of Matt Watkins. Fourth, the 18 of Robert Balcom. And fifth right now is the 22 of Gary Piccolo. Sixth, the number 6 of Joe Allen, the Jet. Joe Allen in the number 6 machine. The number 60 is running in, I believe, the 7th position here. Indeed he is. Yellow flag going to fly once again. We're going to have to page, and we're going to have to make a phone call out there to Dr. Green, paging Dr. Green for some elixir for the yellow fever. Cautions have braided cautions here early on in the going, actually about the middle part of this race, and we've been plagued by it. So Dr. Green, it's your job now to get rid of this yellow fever.
Yeah, we've seen through the first 40 laps, we've seen some fantastic green flag racing. But through these last 30 laps, we've had our fair share of caution flags. I believe unofficially this is number 7 of the night. I lost all my tally here when I had the alien abduction just a little bit ago. But looks like contact on the racetrack. The 17 of James Collins around. Looks like there was contact with the 28 of Monty Keller. Not to hate on Monty, but something certainly going awry there. And those 2 guys making contact and once again under the yellow flag.
Yeah, tough break for Monty Keller once again, and James Collins. They've been in 2 of these yellow flags here, and some of it not of their own doing. But I'm going to throw it down to Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, who can enlighten us on what happened out there on the speedway.
Yeah, most definitely, guys. We're going to keep our eyes on the 17 of Collins and let this kind of play out. Not sure if there was contact with the 028 of Keller or not. As they get into the corner, we've seen a little bit. Oh, there was a little bit of contact. The 028 got into the 17. That's going to send Collins around up towards the wall. Slams the back end into the wall. He's already turning the back of that car into a subcompact. As you can see, Alan Coleman there in the 36 is able to get around him without making contact. Tough break for Collins. I believe that's our second compact out there on the car racing tonight. So tough break for these guys, smashing the back ends of these cars up. It's going to affect them later on in the race. Back up to you guys.
All right, Rich, that's a good one. That we have a compact out there. How much do you think aerodynamics of the back end, Rich? Do you think with these compacts out there, how much do you think that's going to affect the handling of these guys?
I don't know. If you think about it, though, it might actually be a good thing. If they get that wing up in the air and get some more downforce on the back end, they may have a little bit more grip back there in the back end, but you never do know in case it upsets something else with the suspension and the tires and what have you. But it's certainly interesting to see the back end of these cars all smashed in.
No, it certainly is. And when you get out there and we talk about on that long green flag run we had there at the beginning stages, how much aero push can certainly come into an effect here. So maybe with that compact top, with that spoiler push up in the air, maybe a little more downforce more on these right rear tires. Maybe do you think that may make those cars turn a little better? No, I think
anytime you take one of these Dodge Chargers like the 17 of James Collins and turn them into like a Dodge Dart or a Dodge Neon, you know, it's going to be interesting, interesting to say the least, because some of those cars can corner pretty good, but they're not going to have the speed coming off, and I don't know. I always thought of it like a Dodge Neon or a Dodge Dart as one of those throwaway cars, and that's indeed what that car is going to have done to it at the end of this race.
He turned a Charger into a Neon. I don't know if we know them Chargers got some souped up engines. Not sure those Neons there. I've been in a few of them. They're certainly not those high speed things. So we'll have to see there. We are at Phoenix. Not too much of a high speed racetrack here tonight. These tricky corners here. In this flat surface, we'll have to keep an eye on what happens to our buddy there, the 17 of James Collins. But we'll have to monitor here what happens here. Currently on lap number 75 of 110. These guys having a couple of issues here through these middle stages. But if you guys out there in YouTube land, you saw here a little while ago, these first 40 laps are mainly clean and green. It made for some terrific racing here at Phoenix. As I think we're going to see, you know, this race is taking the same shape as we had a race here 2 weeks ago at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We had a fantastic run through the first 80 laps. You know, one caution early on, right on the very first lap of the race. And the next 82 circuits were under the green flag, had around the green flag pit stops. Yellow flag, wouldn't you know, coming out right in the middle of that, ruining what was turning into a great race. This from there, the next 25 laps to the finish of that race, just marred by caution flags. As you know, as we've said, yellows breed yellows, and we're seeing that certainly here in the middle stages here. The Van Todd looking to pull its way onto pit road. We're going to put this thing back under green flag conditions. Now on working lap number 76.
Yeah, back under green flag conditions at 31. Derek Justice is going to lead the charge once again here at the Phoenix International Raceway. It looks like he got one whale of a run on the number 404 of Jeremy Jeffries. Jeffries running in that second spot. Third is the 15 of Matt Watkins. Fifth is the number 18 of Robert Balcom. Balcom running in that fourth spot. Fifth is the 22 of Gary Piccolo under heavy fire from the Jet, Joe Allen. And then number 6 machine, he was down on the bottom side. Now a pass for, I believe that's the third position. No, it put Robert Balcom into third. And then number 18 machine, here comes Joey the Jet. And then number 6 machine, now he's down on the bottom side of the 22 of Gary Piccolo.
Yeah, he got real loose. Did Joe Allen, number 6, trying to fight, running him along that 22 there, side-by-side racing. That's for the 5th spot off of turn number 3 and 4. Gary able to get that great run of the high lane. He drifts up the racetrack, maybe a little bit of contact with the outside wall. That's going to have a 6 of Joe Allen by. Now here comes the 60 of Zach Rebound. He's going to fill that inside gap. That's racing side-by-side for the 6th spot on the next stretch.
What a helpless feeling for the 22 of Gary Piccolo. Now, it looks like somebody blowing up on the speedway, trying to find out who that is, Phil. Maybe you have a better look at it.
Looks like the 04 of Jeremy Jeffries having a motor expiring there, thinking that's not where the smoke may have been coming from. Green flag going to stay out on the speedway, but a tough break for Jeremy Jeffries, Todd. He was up there in the top 5. He's one of those guys who gets around the Phoenix International Raceway real quick, and now that with a camshaft, that's going to relegate Jeremy, looks like, to 24th place finish tonight. Tough break for Jeremy Jeffries.
Yeah, I mentioned something to Jeremy Jeffries about that same issue here earlier. To throw a couple more hamsters into that wheel. You needed to be able to do so those motors didn't expire, but one of the hamsters expiring in that machine, and now Jeremy Jeffries now down on pit road, and I believe that's going to end his night, like you said, Phil Chaff, aboard that Monster Energy sponsor machine, running real well here this evening.
All right, Rich, Pat, I believe you have a live picture there. What happened to Jeremy Jeffries there on that restart? His yellow flag's on the speedway, so down to you, Rich.
Yeah, we're definitely going to let this play out in full speed. As you can see, Jeffries was running there in second place, so we're going to keep an eye on him as he's running. All of a sudden, that motor just lets go. Good thing was Jeffries was able to get off the track, get down on the apron to save the yellow from coming out. Tough break now, as it seems that the yellow has just flown, so I'm going to have to go back and do some more digging and see what happened there. But tough break, as you guys said, for Jeremy Jeffries. Back up to you guys.
All right, we are under yellow flag number 8 now. Looks like it was the 71 of Bruce Heil may have been the guy that spun around there and precipitated that yellow flag. You know, contact. It looks like something going on around the Bruce Heil and the Chris Hartofelax machine. Now, a new rule here in 2016, Todd, for this Premiere Cup Series, this being yellow flag number 8. Whoever the perpetrator of that yellow flag is, they're going to have to be served a black flag on the restart from yellow flag number 8 and beyond. Certainly a stiff penalty up here in 2016, but certainly I think a lot better than what we had here a year ago with caution flag number 8 and beyond, when it became a 1-in-park series. But certainly, you know, guys out there trying to keep their race clean, that 1-in-park might have been kind of cool, but certainly that black flag penalty, Todd, certainly doesn't end your night, but it certainly does not help there with yellow flag number 8 and beyond.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't help. Going to put you a couple of laps down on the speedway. Tough break for the 71 of Bruce Heil. Not going to comment on what went on, but I'm going to throw it down. It looks like Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, ready down there in the trailer down there in the DRTV booth. What happened, Rich?
Yeah, we're going to keep our eyes on the 71 of Bruce Heil. As you can see, he's running side by side there with the 68. Everything's looking good. He gets into the corner. It looks like Hartofelax down on the bottom is trying to get under him. And there was a little bit of contact made there. Believe the 71 might have got a little loose. That's going to pull him down into Hartofelax. Hartofelax tried to stay off of him. Could not do it. That's going to send Heil up into the wall. As you can see, Hartofelax there trying to slow his car down as well, come to a stop and get out of the way. Tough break for the 71. A little bit of contact between the 112 and the 71. That's going to put Bruce Heil into the wall. Tough break, guys.
Yeah, certainly a tough break down. A yellow flag number 8 now. Been making some work here for the admins is contact between the 112 and the 71, putting Bruce into the outside wall, and certainly contact there for the 112. So that putting us under yellow flag number 8 now, working lap number 83. It's a 110 lap main event distance here tonight at the Phoenix International Raceway for the Premiere Cup Series, race number 4 of 36 on the season. This is broadcast number 2 for us this season here from this series. We're going to have 15 of these races live on the air through the duration here, all the way through the NASCAR schedule, all the way through the month of November. Cannot wait. Race number 2. Going to have 13 more of these on the air here in 2016. Cannot wait to see all the twists and turns we have here through this DRTV Premiere Cup Series season. Cannot wait to see what we get here. The field here for the Path to Premiere Scramble, the new way we're going to crown the champion here for the Premiere Cup Series in 2016. And so many great twists and turns that are going to go on this season, Todd. And I certainly cannot wait to see what we're going to have here in store for us later on as the season plays out.
As we're watching the number the 210, he was out there leading there. The Insomniac Motorsports, Ed Stancliffe, Eddie Lee, known at the Insomniac Motorsports machine. He out there leading a lap. So the 210 of Ed Stancliffe now down on pit road after he led his lap, getting service. Looks like he gets 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. He's going to join the tail end of the pack. That's going to give the lead out to the number 31 of Derry Justice once again.
Going to be Derek Justice with the race lead. Mauricio Bedoya, Ed Stancliffe, Robert Baucom, Joe Allen. That looks to be the way they're going to restart here. In the top 5, Ken Hansen, Gary Piccolo, Matt Watkins, Zach Freemel, Martin Karch. That is your current top 10. 11 through 15, Maverick Morrow, Craig Meyer, Dennis Chambers, Isaac Johnson, Ryan Johnson. That is your current top 15. Matt Lesniewski, 16th. Jay Schaefer, 17th. James Collins is 18th. Chris Hartefelax, 19th. The dog John Palmer is 20th. Alan Coleman is 21st. Bruce Heil, 22nd. 23rd, the last car on the speedway will be Danny Johnston in the 512. 24th finisher tonight, Jeremy Jeffries, Monty Keller, Carson Grenz, Keith Patton, Kelly Horner, Don Dangler. Those cars all out of the event. Now working under green flag conditions. Todd, on lap number 85, the field is in turn number 3.
Yeah, field in turn number 3 with Justice leading the number 60 running in that second spot. Third is the number 18 of Robert Baucom. Baucom right now all over the rear bumper there momentarily. Of the 68 bounces it off the wall there momentarily. Now fourth running Joe Allen. Allen now looking down to the bottom side of the 18 of Robert Baucom. They're side by side coming through corner number 2. Down the back straightaway through that little kink section here at the Phoenix International Raceway. Allen now moves into that third spot around the number 18 of Robert Baucom.
Now that's going to be the pass for the third position there. Put Joe Allen, Joey the Jet, and that South Point forward, number 6, up into that third spot. Certainly a very, very fast driver here at Phoenix. He's got 2 fast drivers just ahead. DJ Derek Justice, the race leader. Mauricio Bedoya in the number 68, currently second. Joe Allen third. Robert Baucom fourth. Ken Hansen tied the 109. He's having a great run to that 5th spot. He's all over the back bumper of the 18 of Robert Baucom. They're racing for that 5th spot off of turn 2.
Yeah, racing for that 5th spot off of turn number 2. Looks like Hansen in that 109 machine trying to work over the 18 of Robert Baucom with the number 22 of Gary Piccolo, still working right there with those guys in lockstep. These guys pretty much single file following one another, waiting for one another to make a mistake. Robert Baucom, one of those guys in that number 18 machine. Robert, one of those guys in a long green flag run condition. He's going to work his way to the front of the speedway, so he knows how to conserve tires aboard that number 18 machine. But Ken Hansen in that 109 machine, Phil, he's having one whale of a run this evening.
Yeah, having a great run aboard that. You know, looks like it's a Hertz rent-a-car forward on your screen. I see it as a Coors Light for, you know, looks like the old retro Bill Elliott scheme on my screen. Awesome looking car. Ken in the 109 having a great run now in the top 5, trying to race around the 18 of Robert Baucom before. Certainly hard to pass as yellow flag, Todd. Yellow flag now number 9 on the speedway, working lap number 89. They're going to put 90 on the board at the line. Not sure if you saw what happened there to bring up this yellow flag, Todd. Well, looks like I think we've had our second alien abduction up in the booth here tonight. Todd Stanton falling out, so we'll have to carry this until he can get that all worked out. Tough break for Todd Stanton. Said he just gave us the text chat there in the YouTube chat box. Lost everything, so we'll give Todd a few minutes here to get everything worked out and get back with us. But believe there was you know, it could have been something on the racetrack around with the Craig Meyer machine or around where Dennis Chambers was. We'll let Rich get that thing all worked out with a DRTV replay. So, Rich, I believe you're ready with the replay. I'm going to throw it down to you, my friend.
Yeah, guys, we're going to keep our eyes on the 25 of Craig Meyer. I first initially thought it was going to be the 110 of Chambers, but going back through this a little bit kind of changed my mind. So we'll play this out. Craig Meyer's going to go into the corner, gets it a little bit loose. You can see the nose dive down there, try to save it with the brakes. It's coming around on him slowly but surely. Tough break for Chambers as he comes around. He just clips the corner of the 25. That's going to send Chambers around as well. Slams his into the back end or into the outside wall. He's going to turn that car into a compact as well. Not sure what the equivalent from the Fusion is to a compact, but evidently that's what happened. Chambers now has a short rear end car, or we can call it that. And a tough break for the 110 and the 25 also of Craig Meyer. Both involved, both a little bit of damage. Back at the units.
All right, so contact on the racetrack. Tough break for Dennis Chambers. Tough break for Craig Meyer. Craig was able to pick up the win at the Atlanta Motor Speedway 2 weeks ago. Had a great run, put that Tide ride into victory lane. You know, 3 races, we've seen 3 different winners. Can we see a 4th tonight? Currently working lap number 91. 110 laps to main event distance here, less than 20 laps to go. It is Mauricio Bedoya in the number 68 in the race lead with Robert Baucom, Ken Hansen, Gary Piccolo, Martin Karch. That is your current top 5. Any of those guys are to find victory lane. That would be a first teamer 2016. 6 through 10, Zach Freemount, Bruce Heil, Ed Stancliffe, Joe Allen, and Derek Justice. He finds himself mired now all the way back into that 10th position. He'll have a long way to go from here, as I believe we're getting Todd Stanton back on cue with us. We'll get him a couple of seconds here to get all back worked out, but that is your current top 10. Working now lap number 92 of 110. Still, the short burst here, a little less than 20 laps to go from here. Should make for a fantastic race here till the finish if these guys can keep it under the green flag condition. Can't wait to see what's going to happen here these next couple of laps. Todd Stanton, you're back with us. What do you think is going to happen here over these next 17, 18 circuits? Doesn't sound like we've got Todd back with us. No, he's getting reconnected now, so we'll give Todd here just another second to get all worked out. Alien abduction night here on DRTV. They got me here a little while ago. They took Todd Stanton for a spin here just a second ago. We'll let Todd get all back worked out. Hopefully something doesn't happen yet. Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, is all good down there. We certainly don't need another alien abduction here tonight on the DRL network.
Yeah, I see the aliens keep trying to take you and Todd away from me. I hope they don't take me. That's going to jack things up a little bit on our end, but hopefully we can get this finished and get things underway here, get back under control. It looks like we're getting closer towards the end of this event. 93 laps done already of 110. Going to be interesting to see. Mauricio right now, our current leader. So we'll have to see how this pans out. The lights are out on the van. They should be getting ready to go green here shortly, Phil.
All right, DRTV Pace Fan, newly relettered in 2016. Fresh new DRTV Premiere Cup Series logo there. Nicely paraded on the side. Hats off to J-Rock. All he's done in that van looked really sharp here for this series in 2016. We're going to see it 13 more times after tonight this season. Cannot wait to see what's going to happen here. The field working its way off of turn number 4. The Pace Van making its hard left-hand turn to pit road. That's going to turn the field back over to Mauricio Bedoya. Robert Baucom, Ken Hansen, your top 3. Todd Stanton, green flag in the air.
Yeah, those darn aliens taking everybody away is green flag in the air. Phil, this time I'm telling you right now, these aliens, all they wanted was a couple of cans. They heard that I had a couple extra cans of that Orange Crush, and that's all they wanted. So I gave them 2 cans of Orange Crush, and they let me back here. So now I'm able to call this race. And Bedoya, that number 68 machine, he's leading the way with this number 18 of Robert Baucom. He's running second. 109 of Ken Hansen running fourth. Fourth is number 22 machine of Gary Piccolo, and 5th is the high side hustler Martin Karch, making his way back up through the field in that number 33 machine. Yeah, he's had a great run. He's rebounded. He was our pole sitter. He led the first 20-something circuits of it. Had a speeding on pit road penalty, and he's able to be soldiering back up now. Currently running in that 5th spot. A great battle shaping up for 3rd between Ken Hansen, Gary Piccolo, Martin right there as well. Also looks like Todd just ahead. We may see a race for the lead forming between Bedoya and the 68 and the 18 of Robert Baucom. They are racing all over the speedway here in Phoenix as the field hits turn 3. Yeah, like we said, the number 18 of Robert Baucom, he's found victory lane here at Phoenix International Raceway here early on in the going. Friday night, he won the All-American Series. Now Baucom lurking here in that 2nd spot, closing the gap between himself and that number 68 machine. He is really closing the gap here, coming down into corner number 1. About 2 car lengths between himself and the number 68 machine now. Yeah, 2 car lengths difference there. That battle for that 3rd spot is certainly heating up as well. Ken Hansen there having a great run. Gary Piccolo been looking for running room. And Martin Karch, the 33, he keeps trying to find that real estate and that low side. And he's got company from Zach Freemount in the number 60 trying to slide on by. Slipping and sliding all over the speedway here at Phoenix. Todd, now the race for 3rd of the turn 1. Yeah, now we're watching number 31 of Derek Justice. He gets around the 22 of Piccolo. Piccolo now drops back to that 4th position. The 31 of Derek Justice now moves into that 3rd spot, I believe. No, the 4th spot. And that number 31 now fighting the 109 of Ken Hansen. Derek Justice looks like a man on a mission. He's got a pair of rockets out the back of that number 31 machine, all over the rear bumper of the 109 of Ken Hansen down the front straightaway. Yeah, Mr. Where did he come from there? Did not even see him race from 7th, now all the way up into that 3rd spot.
DJ Derek Justice. Hard to miss that pink and white Baskin Robbins 4 on your screen, but he is certainly on the charge. He's around Ken Hansen for third. He is on the march looking for that runner-up spot. Now we're going to be back under the yellow flag again on lap number 99, about to put an even 100 on the board. The 10th yellow flag of the night here, Todd. Looks like contact on the racetrack between, it looks like James Collins and Matt Lesniewski. Tough break for those guys involved. I was hoping to see this thing go to the finish because that was certainly shaping up to be a really, really great race to the end.
Yeah, it was shaping up to be a really, really good race here towards the end of this event, but we're still going to go back to green flag racing there, Phil. I'm looking at the fastest laps of the race. This is the whole race. The 31 of Derek Justice. Martin Karch has been running fastest laps all evening long. He ran the fastest lap. He's had the fastest lap of a 27.169. Justice, in that run right there, ran the fastest lap of the race of a 27.096, Phil. So now he is out of the ballpark with that number 31 machine. Was he saving his stuff? Did he just burn up his tires there, Phil?
Yeah, well, it's too late to save tires now here, but less than 10 laps to go. Working lap, or caution flag number 10 tonight. I believe Rich is ready with the replay, so down to you, Rich.
Yeah, guys, we're going to keep our eyes on the 24 of Matt Lesniewski. Watch him get into this corner. Not sure if Collins helped him or not. We're going to see this play out. I don't always get to watch it ahead of time. It looks like there is a little bit of contact. The 17 is going to get into the back of the 24. That's going to send the 24 around. Smashes it into the back wall. He has turned that Chevrolet into a compact now, so I'm thinking we got at least 4 or 5 compacts in the field. Tough break for Matt in the 24. He now has a short rear end Chevy. Back up to you guys.
Todd Stanton, yeah, just hearing you whispering in my ear there about what is the make on that number 24 now with that short back end? What did you call that? Is that the old school Chevette?
Yeah, definitely the Chevette on that number 24 machine. You know, they coined the phrase "shove it" for no reason. For some reason, I own one of them Chevettes, and I used to tell everybody I did own that, and it's actually a Chevy Chevette. And those things, you couldn't even get out of your own way with one of those.
Yeah, you certainly could not. I remember those as well. Now we're seeing some Chevettes out there. I wonder who's got the Pinto out there. Who do you think's got that Pinto, Todd?
I haven't seen so many. I haven't seen so many crushed up Fords. I mean, it could even be a Fiesta out there for all I know.
I'm not sure how to follow that as things are getting goofy here. Less than 10 laps to go. This is the DRTV Premiere Cup Series, the Phoenix International Raceway. Race number 4 of 36 here in the 2016 season. Of course, this series will follow the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. You know, almost to a T. They take weeks off here for the big holidays. They get races rescheduled here on open dates. But, of course, the NASCAR schedule, they take over to the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana next week. Of course, that's what this Premiere Cup Series will be as well. 1 week from now, these guys return to action at the Auto Club Speedway. To get involved in the series, head over. It's a registration-only series. TDR-racing.net. TDR handling all the racing operations for us here at DRL for 2016 as part of this great series. So much great work these guys do throughout the season. You know, Todd and myself, we like to sit in the admin's chair on a Saturday night. When we're not up here in the broadcast booth with you, and we get to see all the great things that happen here in 2016. Cannot wait to see where all the twists and turns and all the trials take us here over the course of this season. Race number 4 of 36. So much great racing here to be a part of here. TDR-racing.net. Get involved and be a part of the Premiere Cup Series. We have well over 45 drivers signed up on the dotted line to be a part of the series in 2016. We had 29 drivers take the green flag tonight, and you look up and down this roster of guys. The racetrack is, the light's been put back on the pace fence. There's going to be one more time around the speedway here under the yellow flag. But you just look up and down this heavy hitter roster. You just look at the current top 10. Mauricio Bedoya, Robert Bauckham, Derek Justice, Ken Hansen, Gary Picklow, you know, Martin Karch, Joe Allen, Matt Watkins, Maverick Morrow, Isaac Johnson. I mean, some of the best drivers this community has to offer. You think you can be up there at one of these names as well? We invite you. Come be a part of the series. Showcase your talents here live on DRTV in the year 2016. Cannot wait. Of course, again, TDR-racing.net, the home base for racing operation of the series. Check out all the great things we got going on here. DRL Network, we've been quiet for about a month. We're going to be back real busy here in about 3 weeks. I believe we have the Brian Williams Memorial as part of the great lineup coming up here. Of course, more stops here to the Premiere Cup Series, and I know we have races coming up at the SMO Hardcore Clan. Maybe a return visit over to the RTG camp. Excel Racing, so much great stuff coming up over here for the next couple of months. We'll get all those dates posted at ASAP over at the home base for us, drlnetwork.com. We'd love to come over to your league. If anybody out there like to get a hold of us, head over there, check out all the awesome stuff, event packages, custom fit to fit all your league's needs. Get Rich, Todd, myself, the first class treatment. Get your league under the bright lights and the sunshine and on the cameras here at DRTV. We'd love to come over and have you. Is this race, Todd, but now less than 10 laps to go. Looks like going to be a 6-lap shootout here from Todd. The van about to make its way to pit road.
Yeah, Van about ready to make his way down to pit road. Deutsche and the number 18 of Robert Balcom going to lead him down with Derek Justice. He's been the man on the mission in that number 31 machine. He's been making some moves here with that 31. I didn't think he had that mustard aboard that number 31 machine, but green flag in the air with Deutsche and the number 18 of Robert Balcom running in that second spot. Looks like Justice may have missed a shift there in that number 31 machine. That's going to propel him back just a little bit. And now he's going to have to mount a charge here from deep in the field as Ken Hansen still holding on to that 4th spot with the 22 of Gary Piccolo running 5th. 6th is Martin Karch, the high side hustler in that number 33 machine. Now down to the bottom side of the 22 of Gary Piccolo. They're side by side through 3 and 4, Phil. Martin Karch wants that position in that number 33 machine.
Yeah, he's got that position on the inside lane, racing side by side with Gary for 5th. Put Martin now into position number 5. He drives it deep into turn number 1 and 2. He's going to slide up the hill. That high-low switch there. Here comes Gary Todd. Great racing for the 5th spot down the backstretch.
That's dirt tracking at its finest. Good hands by the 33 of Martin Karch to move the race. And he's sideways again all the way through the corner, and he keeps it right in the right direction. He's going to lose many positions in that 33 machine, as now he bounces off the 72 of Isaac Johnson. So Martin Karch really excited as yellow flag is out there on the speedway, but a lot of excitement out of that 33 of Martin Karch.
Yeah, sure it was there, and I believe that was racing back to the caution flag here, working lap number 107. Not sure if the math is going to add up, Todd, to put this thing back under, green flag conditions. So that may have been the race here, yellow flag number 11 on lap number 107. It was a fantastic race in the front of the field, Todd, between the 31 of Derek Justice and Mauricio Bedoya and the number 68. We were watching that awesome battle for 5th, but Derek was able to make a great move on the inside lane and then shot up to the high side to keep Mauricio behind him. And it looks like unofficially, Todd, Derek Justice may be our winner here tonight.
Yeah, he's going to be the first to repeat here this evening. The number 31 of Derek Justice going to be the first guy to 2 wins here in this early season of the 2016 Premiere Cup Series, Phil. And Derek Justice had many wins last season, and it kind of took everybody's hopes out of the championship. And that number 31 machine, and he had the championship won last year, but it's different this year. The scramble, the Premiere Cup path, the Premiere Cup scramble, going to make it a world of difference. 2 wins though for Derek Justice in that number 31 machine.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be win number 2 for the 31 of Derek Justice to field in turn number 3. I believe it's going to be 2 to go at the line. I'm not sure from here. I'm certainly not a track builder, and I don't know if we're going to get this thing back on the green flag condition. I believe we're going to have to get 1 to go this time. And with everybody on the lead lap, that's not something that is not impossible. But we're going to see what happens here. The field is off turn number 4. But we've been slowed by 11 yellow flags here, 108 laps in, but we've seen some fantastic racing here. We've seen our fair cautions, but we've seen some great racing here at Phoenix tonight.
Yeah, indeed, we have seen some great racing here at Phoenix. Having a little bit of a hiccup here is a little bit of issues here on my end, still trying to get back here into this racing action. But Derek Justice put on one whale of a show here, trying to get around these guys. And like I said, he completed the fastest lap of the race aboard that number 31 machine here late in the going. So he didn't show his stuff till the very end. And that number 31 machine still behind that DRTV pace van here. Long race here to get back to checkered flag, so it's a little bit different going about 55 miles an hour around the speedway versus what they were going. So it's a slow pace set by this DRTV pace van, but it looks like we're going to finish under yellow flag conditions here with Derek Justice, Bedoya, the 18 of Robert Balcom going to finish up in that third spot. Fourth, the 109 of Ken Hansen. Fifth will be Gary Piccolo. So good run for those top 5 guys. Sixth was Matt Watkins. Seventh, Maverick Morrow. Eighth is Joe Allen. Ninth, it should be the 33 of Martin Karch. And rounding out your top 10, the 72 of Isaac Johnson. We got white flag in the air, Phil, one more time around the speedway for Derek Justice here under yellow flag.
Yeah, and I believe Rich Patton, may be ready there for the last time tonight with the DRTV replay. Show us what happened here, Rich, to put us under yellow time for the final time tonight.
Yeah, no problem, guys. We're going to keep our eyes on the 24 of Matt Lesniewski again. It looks like we're going to go ahead and run this at full speed. He's going to come into the corner a little bit hard, right underneath right behind the 117. He's going to catch that apron, going to upset his car, and all of a sudden he does a dance down the straightaway there. Doesn't bounce it off of anything. He's able to get it pointed in the right direction, so everything's good as far as damage goes. Even though this is the end of the race tonight, tough break for Matt Lesniewski as well.
Yeah, it certainly is. So this thing going to finish up under the yellow flag. You know, it's tough to see. We had so much great racing here in Phoenix tonight. As we said, we've certainly seen our share of yellows. 11 yellow flags here through 110 laps of this main event. But when it all settles here, Todd, as they work their way off of turn number 4 for the final time, for the second time this year, back-to-back race wins. It's going to be for the 31 of DJ, Derek Justice. New scheme, new number in 2016. Same result. Derek Justice here, Todd, the winner of tonight's Phoenix 200 here at the Phoenix International Raceway.
Bedoya going to finish up in that second spot as these guys wrecking on the front straightaway. Congratulating some of these guys as Bedoya moves up next to Derek Justice, same way with 18 of Robert Balcom. Those guys actually letting Derek Justice know congratulations aboard that number 31 machine. Bedoya again second, third was Robert Balcom, fourth Ken Hansen, Gary Piccolo, Matt Watkins, Maverick Morrow, Joe Allen, the 33 of Martin Karch, the 72 of Isaac Johnson. Ryan Johnson finishing up right behind him in the 11th position. Dennis Chambers, the 25 of Craig Myers, 60 of Zach Freeman, the 71 of Bruce Heil, the 76 machine. 112 of Chris Harda Felix, the 210 of Eddie Lee, the 19 machine, or 19th, the 108 of John the Dog Palmer, the 20th position was the 36 of Alan Coleman, and 21st on the field, the 512 of Danny Johnston. The 24 of Matt Lesniewski finishes 22nd. The 17 of James Collins finishes 23rd. And the only other cars I got there, Phil, and my replay is incomplete. The 27th position was the 69, the Flying Fossil, retired early from the event. That is Keith Patton, and the 99 of Don Dangler finishes up 29th here tonight.
Yeah, indeed. You said Don Dangler going to finish up 29. 29 drivers taking the green flag. 110 laps later, it's going to be DJ Derek Justice taking down the win. Mauricio Bedoya will finish up in that second spot. Robert Balcom going to finish up in the third spot. We'll see if we can't catch up with 2 of our top 3. I don't think we're going to be able to talk to Mauricio, but we can certainly talk to the guy finishing up in that third spot on the podium tonight. And that'll be the driver of the 18, Robert Balcom. Robert, Phil from DRTV, buddy, do you have a copy?
Yeah, go ahead, bud.
Robert, congratulations on a third-place finish. Looked like it, we've seen our fair share of yellow tonight, but we've seen some fantastic racing out there. What was it like behind the wheel of the 18? You certainly look like you've got a fast hot rod.
Oh, yeah, you know me, I love green flag. I need a long run. That would have made a big difference. We had, it kind of was one of them deals where it was a good setup, so I think it was just kind of people getting, hard aggressive driving, the best part of it. But, yeah, the setup was great. Long runs would have been awesome. Big shout out to Derek. He made the right call on pitting there at the end. We had thought about it, but I just figured too many cars would stay out, and the way the cautions were falling, I just figured too many cautions right there at the end would kind of hurt us and not have time to get back up there. But we had a great car. First time with Mountain Dew on it. So I appreciate an extreme paint from Joe Archer. And congratulations to him. He's having a baby boy, so I want to give a shout out to him too.
Yeah, indeed, Robert. Congratulations to Joe on the announcer there, having a baby boy later on this year. And, fantastic looking scheme out there in that Mountain Dew scheme in the 18. Great run for you tonight. I'm going to give you the microphone one more time. I'll give you a shout out to all of your sponsors. Thank you, family. Whoever would like to thank there, buddy. The microphone is all yours.
Oh, I appreciate it. I want to give a shout out to my wife. Of course, she supports the crap out of me. She watches me every night that I'm on here, so that's pretty cool having somebody in the next room hollering for me. I want to give a shout out to one of my coworkers, Jess. He's actually in Memphis, which is I'm from Nashville for those that don't know, but he's visiting his mom and he's watching, so I give a shout out to him. And like I said, great job to Derek. Appreciate the hell out of DRTV and the guys at TRD. I mean, these guys are freaking awesome for what all they do for us. And I want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Apple Collision Center, my business. Of course, they're not on this car, but they will be soon. And like I said, I just appreciate the great race by everybody. It was really fun. Oh, and I want to give a shout out to my daughter today before I get smacked in the back of the head. My daughter dances competitive dancing, and she took first place in all 4 events. So great job, Caitlin. There you go.
All right, well, that's our good buddy, Robert Bach of the number 18. Congratulations to him. A fantastic third place run tonight for the 18. We're going to see, where we can go next year. I know Mauricio Mendoza, he finished up in that second spot. Oh, let's see. Todd Stanley says he's going to be able to communicate with us, so I'm going to throw it down to you down there with the runner-up finisher tonight. See if we can't talk to our buddy Mauricio, the number 68. So, Todd, down to you, my friend.
Yeah, I've caught up with the driver, the number 68, Mauricio. Mauricio, great race here this evening. Tell us about those closing laps and how much tires did you have to conserve? I know you're one of those guys that had to stay out there. Mauricio, tell us a little bit about your race here this evening.
Okay, thank you. When I see Derek and stay in pistol, and I decided I prefer and stay outside, and I try to win, but it's impossible. He have tires in the torque 4, and I can win. But it was fun.
Well, you came up second place here this evening, and that's nothing to shake head at. And congratulations on that second place finish here, Mauricio. I'm going to give you the microphone. The floor is all yours. I know you have some people out there that were watching you. Give your shout out. Give thanks to whoever you'd like to thank here this evening.
And thank you, you guys, for the workout. It was amazing. And thank you so much. The race was good, and the second place is really good for the championship, and I hope one day you win. But thank you so much.
Again, that's our driver, the number 68. That's Mauricio, finishing up in that second spot here this evening. Phil, great race by that machine, and hopefully he will once again visit Victory Lane here on the DRTV. But I'm going to throw it down to Mr. TV Time Rich Patton, who is caught up with our race winner, the driver, the number 31. That's Derek Justice.
Yeah, guys, I made my way down here to Derek Justice. Derek, one heck of a race. It looked like right there towards the end of this thing, you just came out of nowhere. I'm hearing through chatterboxes that last pit stop is probably the best move of the night. Tell us about your race tonight, buddy.
The beginning of the race was really calm. I was just picking my way through the field on that long green flag run. I was really wondering when we were going to get a yellow there because I kind of needed that. But I thought I made the wrong call actually on that final yellow there, or close to the final yellow. I thought I wasn't gonna have enough time to get back in the front, but I managed my rein to dig hard and started I think at 11th there, and we had a yellow there to bunch up back to the field, but I was end up getting around Mauricio and Robert there because I know those two guys are hard to pass. So I'm glad I came out to the victory there.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations on your win tonight. It's just one of several races we've got going on with this series. Looking forward to a lot of good racing with this series throughout the year. So congratulations for the win tonight here at Phoenix. And the floor is all yours, sir. And thank whoever got you here tonight, buddy.
Of course, the DRTV crew, they put a lot of hard work. A lot of people don't know that they had to go through every week, and appreciate you guys first. And Robert and Maverick, keeping me keeping me company, and and everybody that supports the series. Everybody, I can't thank everybody enough that comes out here and supports this series. And hopefully it'll be bigger and bigger as the weeks progress. So thank you, everybody.
All right, race fans. Well, there you have it. Today's winner, Derek Justice in the 31. Back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, so there's our interview to our top three. Great to up there with Mauricio. Don't get to talk to him nearly enough. He was nice enough to send me a message here. Yes, I can interview you guys on DRTV. It was great to talk to him. Great race here tonight, Todd from Phoenix. We know we were slowed by 11 caution flags, but we certainly saw our fair share of great racing here tonight at this tricky 1 mile oval. And really proud of these guys. A great field of cars on hand. 29 took the green flag, and when it all came through at the end of the race, we found Derek Justice once again the second week in a row here in Victory Lane.
Yeah, great race here at the Phoenix International Raceway. Glad to be a part of it here once again. And can't wait to broadcast some more of these races, Phil, here later on in the year here coming up. I mean, we've got 13 more broadcasts coming up here on the DRTV Premiere Cup Series on the DRL network here, Phil. So we're going to have to see what other races are up on the docket and see who else will come up on top here. Like we said, Phil, Derek Justice, back-to-back wins here for the DRTV Premiere Cup Series. First guy to 2 wins here this evening. Was hoping to see a different winner down there in Victory Lane, but it's always good to see Derek Justice win a race too.
Well, it certainly is, and it was a great race tonight. 40-something plus, 49 drivers on the dotted line to be a part of this series here in 2016. So we'll have, as said, 13 more shows here in 2016. Can't wait to see where this all takes us. We're going to be off on this series for the next couple of weeks. We're going to return to the airwaves 3 weeks from tonight on April the 2nd. BGSR, the Brian Williams Memorial Race. Cannot wait to get there. We're going to be back here. We were just off for just about a month. We're going to be off for another couple of weeks here before we return to the airwaves again, over to the BGSR stables, the Brian Williams Memorial. And then I think we're going to be back here a few weeks later on for more races here from the Premiere Cup Series. Visits over to the SMO Hardcore Clan, Excel Racing, RTG. So much great racing on the docket over the next few months. Keep up with all of it. DRLnetwork.com is the home of DRTV. So until our next broadcast 3 weeks from tonight, for our buddies, Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, and the DRTV control booth, for Todd Stanton, my name is Phil Lacasse. Thank you for watching us here tonight live on the DRL Network.